Good morning. We are on our Tuesday. I'm giving you guys value every Tuesday, and it's really a good thing. So everyone around the world can see what we're doing and get an idea of what the Institute of the Mind is. And on that note, I'm going to go a little bit into on what we're doing. We're teaching people to really get a better understanding of them and their uniqueness, their ability to create a life by design, their ability to get unstuck, the opportunities that are on the other side of the door. And it's very important to understand that your uniqueness with creation is perfect. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. Doesn't matter where you're at. Doesn't matter what part of the world you're at. Doesn't matter the race, the religion, the color. None of those things matter because the truest form of who we are and what we are is eternal. We are spiritual beings experiencing a physical reality. And when you can really get the concept and the depth of that idea, then we're all essence in nature. And yes, we have came into a body, and yes, we will move out of a body. So every few seconds, a child is born, and an essence is born. That's what gives it life. That's what gives it the breath. And through the time period we call life, it's expressing ideas. The ideas that it's expressing are normally cultural beliefs ingrained at birth. And that's the only thing that we can do. And we've all felt it all around the world. We're all looking for something. We're all looking for something that's inside of us. Every man, every woman that's walked the ground, that's walked the earth, has always been guided by a higher light, by a higher intelligence. Always telling them to go beyond where they're at. Always showing them and pushing them to be better, to have more, to be greater than the conditions, to go beyond the circumstances, to imagine a better life. And these people that have really taken on this virtue called life and truly understood it have really pushed. There's not very many that really push beyond the circumstances. Majority of the people come into reality, come into their time period, and majority do conform. But that wasn't the reason why we're here. We're here to go beyond this body, to think, to really, really think. And when you look at everything around the world, and you look at everything that's man-made, but it's human-made. You is a higher consciousness of man. It's the creative side of his nature. When you look at the hue in all man, you see that he really desires to go beyond nature. And he has desired this from the beginning of time. And there was this spark, this creative imagination that was always pushing him to go beyond, to think, put ideas together. Where did these ideas come from? Why is it that these ideas take him beyond nature? He's brought all these things, left their information, their ideas from the past, their dreams, their visions. They didn't change the laws. People who built the phones didn't change the laws. They began to understand them. All these gifts. All these gifts. God. All these gifts. This building you're in. Our ability to stream around the world right now. All these gifts brought down by a creative imagination. A man that walked the earth, a woman that walked the earth, a child that walked the earth. Thinking beyond conditioning has allowed man to advance, to go beyond where he's ever been. Now, this same ability is born natural in all humans. It's naturally there. What you've done, and what has come to pass is the majority of the people have forgotten their birthright. That's right. Their birthright to think. Their birthright to create. Now, when we look at our future, what do you see? When you look to the future, what do you see? What is it that you really, really want? And this is the key to success, is really thinking. The key to success that helps us is really thinking, going beyond. What do you really, really want? Now, in these classes, we teach people to set goals. And we ask everyone that's around us, what do you want? What is it that you really, really want? Because the majority of the people really never give themselves that opportunity to really think. Majority of us are trained, and it's ingrained in us at birth, to look at the conditions, look at this, look at that. And we take that on, we take that baby behavior on. Why? Because that's the only thing that we could do. We're born in a body, we're born in a family, and we do the only thing that we can do. We accept. Our subconscious mind is like a sponge. We do the only thing that we can do. We accept. You accept it. That's right. I'm talking to you, the individual. You accept it. The thing about this is we didn't know what we were accepting, nor did you know that those beliefs and ideas would be ingrained in your heart, in your mind. Some of those things serve you. Some of those things have taken you to where you are today. Some of those things are holding you back. You see, what happened to you and what happened to me is happening to everyone around the world. I want you to really understand that. You see, we begin to think, act, walk, and talk just as they do. And the people that raised us did the same thing. They didn't understand this information. It's not readily available around the world, but that's what we're doing. We did the only thing that we could do, and our family members did the only thing that they could do. They begin to think, act, walk, and talk like their environment, like their culture. So blame is out of the question. We'd be blaming generation after generation. No, the thing here is to understand. And then begin to think, what is it that I want? It's my choice now. Now that you know that you are programmed into beliefs and ideas and environment and culture, now that you know, what are you going to do with it? You see, the creative force, I believe there's a creative force, and every scientist has ever walked the ground that really have studied science, have studied creation. They all agree that there's a creative force. Now, this creative force gave you the ability to think. And thinking means going beyond where you're at. This creative force gave you a mind. And if you look up the word mind, it means soul, spirit. This soul, spirit, is psychic. And if you look up the word psyche, you'll find that it takes you back to thoughts. It'll take you back to the mind and spirit. A mental movement, a mental phenomena. So here we take these two words and we start to understand who we truly are. You see, we are spiritual beings experiencing a physical reality. We're spiritual beings experiencing ideas that were given to us at birth. There's nothing wrong with you or I or them or they. They're the same as us. Different cultures, different experiences, different ideas. They've done the same thing that you and I have done. All they have done is accepted the ideas from their culture, all the beliefs, religion, habits, behaviors, the way they eat, the way they talk, the way they walk. Everyone around the world has done the same thing as you and I. The clue was that there's this innate ability in you and I, and it's wanting to take you further. It's pushing you. It's pushing you to go beyond what you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you touch, what you smell. That spark, that divine spark from within is what is pushing you to go beyond. That is the celestial part of you. That is the essential part of you. That is your birthright. That's what's taking all men from around the world to deliver all these beautiful things. And we look back at them. Let's look how they changed the world. Let's look at Edison. Let's look at Einstein. Let's look at Tesla. Let's look at these men that revolutionized the world by thinking, by going beyond their conditions. They had conditions just like you and I. They had programming just like you and I. They wanted more. They wanted more. That want allowed them to tap to a higher intelligence, and everybody called them a genius. Genius is just somebody that's expressing more what? More thinking power. More thinking power than the current conditions, than the current people around them. That's all they're doing. Genius is somebody that is expressing a higher intelligence than the average individuals of their time. What are they doing? They're using their birthright. They're using their birthright. They're plucking ideas from the ether. They're plucking ideas from the imagination. And they're bringing them down. They're working it out. They bring it into reality so that you can see, you can experience it in form. That's once again the unseen becoming form, the unseen becoming reality. And it was a gift. This is what we're talking about. People have forgotten the gift. And it's your ability to really, really think. The only difference between you and I and them is how much of the gift that you express. Majority of the people are human doings instead of human beings. Human doings are just do this and do that and do the other thing. Do as they did. Talk as they talk, walk as they walk. Just human doings. No, the creative part of you was human being, to become, to continue become more. Quite simple human doings. They don't need to think. All they have to do is just do things. Really think about that. A human that is becoming more than what they were is continually imagining beyond where they're at, setting their own destinations, building their own visions, and continually adapting and growing towards them. Well, thank you, George. Well, when we take ourselves and our experiences and where we're at today, everything that you've seen is more or less the same. And if you look around and you look at, and if you can go back and if you can remember all the little details in people, you're going to notice that their demonstrations is coming from some mental phenomena that you cannot see, but it sure is expressing itself in behaviors. What is it expressing? Whose ideas is it expressing? Is it really expressing more desire? Or is it just expressing conditions that it was given? This is why so many people are stuck around the world. They're just continually expressing the ideas of the environment they came into. You're better than that, and you know you are. That's why you're here. You feel something inside of you that desires to express so much more. We're all better than this. Each and every one of us by birthright, we are born to create, born to envision, born to imagine, born to build. So what do? We set goals. That's right. We set goals. We teach people to set goals on purpose, not just regular goals, not just small goals, not just little bitty goals. We do goals on purpose. We teach goal setting on purpose. Now, when we take the word setting a goal, you would normally think such a simple word wouldn't have such a big impact. Well, you're wrong. It's huge, because goals change reality. Goals change the future when you really decide and commit to doing them. When you really decide and commit to achieving a goal, the future must surround itself around that vision. Must. Law. The future must surround itself around people that desire the thing that was brought forth. The future must become the present. This was an idea once from the past, but it is now the present. And if you take that literally, it's exact. The future must become the present in the one who would consciously create conditions. Consciously create conditions. Consciously leave marks in time for man to recognize the divine force within. That's a beautiful thing. For man to recognize its oneness and its uniqueness with the creative force himself. Wow, now you're beginning to understand. Goals are good for the soul. As you start to work towards your goal, goals are not to get, they're to grow. As you begin to work towards a goal, something you truly want, something you truly desire, something that really inspires you, what happens? You begin to change. You begin to unlock. You begin to unravel. You begin to let go of beliefs that did not serve you. You begin to see the conditioning in all the people that used to surround you. And you begin to see that you used to be like them. You begin to understand that you're so much more. And that the only difference between you and them now is that you believed in yourself. You imagined beyond where you were at. You took the gift and you began to apply it into your physical world. And your whole world will begin to change. Why? Because of your uniqueness with the creative force was always with you. Always. Been waiting for you. The gift has been waiting for you to express it with your own proper vision, with your own desire. Goals are not to get, they're to grow. It's who you're becoming along the way. Goals purify the soul. Your soul and spirit is essence, and it's expressing ideas. Right now, at this very moment, your soul, your spirit is expressing ideas. And you're seeing it move into form. You'll see it move into form ahead of you. You'll see it. You'll walk today. You're walking today. You're living in the future past. Today, the house, the home, the car, all the things inside the home, all the people, the friends, the family, the people that you attracted, that you have in your life close to you, you did that. You done all of that according to the way you were thinking. And as you've adapted and changed little by little, you began to change your outer ring. You began to change. The house you're in today is clearly not an accident. You were dreaming about it. You were thinking about it. You were wanting something better to whatever degree that you have today. The things you have today are gifts. Regardless of how far you were dreaming, there's still a gift from the creative force, your imagination. Now, you may begin to realize maybe you haven't just been imagining far enough. Maybe you haven't been stretching far enough. Maybe you really, truly desire more. This is what we teach people. We teach people how to get past that, how to go beyond that. You see, a goal changes everything. A goal manipulates matter, manipulates form. How does it do that? Well, if you never set one, if you never set a goal bigger than where you're at, further than where you've ever been, you're going to keep going back to what you know how to do, the way you were programmed, the way you were trained, the beliefs that you have. Now, don't get me wrong, you're still manipulating matter, you're still changing things, but you already know how to do that. Yeah, that's right. Whatever you were programmed into, whatever you were groomed to be, you can do more or less those things fairly easy. You're still creating. You're still using the creative force, but you're using it very minimal. You're still creative by nature. You're still one with the infinite. It doesn't matter where you're at. You're still one with the creative force. You have the ability to think. The question is, what do you really want? The question is, what do you really, really want? Goals are good for the soul. They're targets. And when you set a goal and you start to work towards that goal, you are manipulating yourself. That's it. That's the key. A lot of people think our goals are to get, goals are to have, and it's all wrong. It's the process. The process is what you want. Because when you begin to change, to adapt to who you need to become to have that goal, you're changing you. You're changing the law of vibration that is in you. You're changing yourself. That was the key. You will no longer be the same person anymore. You're changing the law of vibration within yourself. All those beliefs, all those ideas, all those programming, gone. You begin to erase them. You begin to erase the chains. You begin to become so much more. Your desires begin to change. Even your wants will begin to change. Even the things before that you desired will begin to fade away. When you truly start to begin the true nature of yourself. As you break those limited beliefs, as you begin to shed away the things that no longer serve you, you begin to see. Oh, I see now. The Wright brothers. Look at the Wright brothers. Think about them. I see it. I see it. Nobody believed that they could do this. But they had a vision. That vision led us to where we're at today. A huge part of it. That's the reason so many people still fly around with wings. Because of their idea. Because that idea was accepted upon and grown upon. Let's look at Edison. He had the idea of a light bulb. He had the idea of electricity. He had the idea of controlling and giving energy, releasing energy. Then he started to fall into these other apparatuses to express this intelligence. All these great inventors, Tesla, started to think, imagine beyond where they're at. And they started to build other apparatuses for us to use. All they were doing was going beyond where they're at. They were thinking beyond the current conditions. They didn't use the hear, taste, touch, smell to live by. Normal man does that. Normal men just use the senses. It's still creation, it's still consciousness. It's just at a lower state. If we just condition ourselves to hear, see, taste, touch, smell, We live just a little bit above the animal, but yet there's so much more. We were meant to go beyond the senses. You were meant to go beyond the senses. Goals manipulate matter, change the fabric of time, alter history, rewrite history, change history, create history. What is this thing? It's called thought. Thoughts become things. Thoughts become things. Why? Only because they were being moved by the most essential part of the man, the hue in man, spiritual essence. Let's take a look at the thing behind the thought and energy. Let's look at the thing behind thought and actions. It's you. Without you, there could be no thought, and there could be no action. Where's the gift? It's you. It's your I am factor. Whatever comes after I am is thought in action, thought in motion. Now really begin to understand what I'm saying. If you need to take your time, you need to look at this over again, rewind it over and over and over and over again, so you can get a better understanding of who you truly are. My mind is spirit information, and I enjoy creation. Therefore, I will take whatever ideas and move them into formation. We do this all day long. We use ideas. Majority of the time, they're someone else's. How many times have you been using somebody else's ideas? How long will you continually use somebody else's ideas to create your future? How long will you continually use the same information to move into formation? How long will you continue to use a culture, their beliefs, their conditioning, their ideas, their I can do it, and their all of their I cannot do it? How long will you continue to use their ideas, their information to move into formation? Or can you accept the fact in your birthright that you're so much more? And begin to analyze and view the world on your own terms. On your own terms. That takes guts. That takes courage. That takes will. That takes you beyond where you're at. Change your perception. To reason. We use the higher faculties, right? The higher faculties take us beyond the senses. Higher faculties are perception, will, imagination, right? Change what you're looking at. Think about different ideas. Reason with those ideas. Go look at other people. You get a different perception. Again, culturally, we're ingrained with beliefs all around the world. Go look at everyone's beliefs. Go look at the people that are really doing things differently, not the ones that are doing common things. There's a whole flock of those. They don't go very far. Go look at the perception and the beliefs around the people that are changing the world, that are bringing ideas, that are using the creative imagination. Don't go to the same person that lives in the same blocks and do the same things. Go research the people that are thinking completely different. You'll get a different perception of reality. You're going to see a different perception, reasoning. Not with them and as they do. He will not reason with people that use a lower consciousness. That person will reason with people with the same mindset. that person will reason with their imagination. Think about this. They will use their higher faculties to reason with the imagination and imagine beyond where they're at. And then they will hold ideas with their will. Yes, the will is your ability to sustain and hold images. Wright brothers, Edison, Tesla. The men that, there's several men that helped build the United States. Every man with a vision, with a dream. Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln, all these men with visions that could hold the vision and act it out. Act out their dreams. What else do we have? With perception, reason, imagination, will. We reason, intuition, memory. We use these gifts back and forth. But are you using them towards a goal? You've used these higher perceptions, these higher faculties at different parts of your life. But have you really sat down and decided? Have you really sat down and taken a pen and decided, I will go there and I will use my higher faculties to take me where I want to go, to take me where I decide? This is what we teach. We don't teach people to do just things. We don't teach people to be human doings. We teach you to be a human being by birthright, to define, to accelerate, to create. This is your gift. This is your gift. I'm going to play a little short video on here. This is on goal achieving. And I'm going to be playing Bob Proctor's videos, one of his video, and he's talking about setting goals. And he's talking about what the goal can really do for you, what it's done for me, what it can do for you when it's done for me. Goal setting has changed my life, and I continue to set goals on purpose to definite ends. Everything I do on purpose to definite ends. This mental attitude has changed my life, and I know it can change yours. I'm going to go into this video. I want you to take some notes and come back.
Let's ask the question, why is goal achieving an art? It's the manipulation of energy, is really what it is. If nothing's created or destroyed, you can't make something out of nothing any more than you can make nothing out of something. Now think about that. You cannot make something out of nothing any more than you can make nothing out of something. It may look like you've made nothing out of something. I may take a match and burn this, and it looks like I've made nothing out of something. No. All I've done is just cause that energy to change from one state to another. So that's why we look at it as an art. You're causing one type of energy to move to another type of energy. This energy may never have moved in that direction before until you came along. There's something very unique and very special about you and about me. Now you're going to ask, where am I? Where am I going? Do you know most people don't know? You could walk downstairs in the lobby and stop one person after another. Most of them cannot tell you where they're going. Well, they say, oh, I'm going to visit my friend, or I'm going downtown, or No, I mean in your life. I say, what do you mean? They don't even know what you mean. They won't know. Most people do not know. To achieve any goal is a journey. And like all successful journeys, you start at the finish. So you know exactly where you're going. Now that's a certain way to enjoy the trip and end up where you want to be. I've just finished filming the 13 Principles of Napoleon Hill. He pointed out there was 30 reasons why people fail, And there's 13 reasons of why they succeed. And there was the 13 principles of success. Well, there's a company out of LA, the people that made the movie, the Napoleon Hill, the Think and Grow Rich, we partnered with them actually, and we've just filmed the 13 principles. And so, you know, I'd been studying it for most of my life, but because I was going to film it, I started to dig in and study again. And this was a very important part of it. They talked about Edison and Ford and James J. Hill. He's building a railroad across. Imagine way back then, you're going to start in the East Coast and build a railroad to the West Coast, a railroad. You know, think about the way those people were thinking. Think of where their mind was. Well, he pointed out that these people would put themselves into a totally relaxed state. In other words, they would let themselves shed themselves of this material, physical world. They wouldn't leave their body. They'd stay in their body, but they would go right inside. They'd go to the core of their being. And then when they were there, they would build the image of where they were going, what they were going to do. That's what Steve Jobs would have done. Now think of some of the big things that's happened. You know, that's how they did it. Yet they did it in this very quiet, one with their maker state. And then, when they come out of it, they go back to work, and the way would start to be shown to them. They knew the way would come. They knew. They had no idea where it was going to go, where it would take them, but they knew the way would happen. It would just come to them. You see? And that's how everything is done. And it was pointed out so well in the book. Now, I'd read that before many times, but I don't, maybe it took on a bigger meaning to me this time. And that's what you have to do. You've got to start where you want to end up. You see? Now, you're going to ask, who am I? Who am I? That's a pretty big question. Well, let's think about it. You know, your spiritual DNA is perfect. It requires no modification and no improvement. Now, you've seen me put that slide up many times. Most of you have. What does it really mean? Your spiritual DNA, in other words, the essence of who you are, right in the center of your being is perfection. There's perfection. That's a big idea. Perfection. It's that perfection that seeks expression. That's pure, unadulterated spirit. It's the core of your being. You're one with God. God, it's you want to express. You know, somebody say, well, what's God's job? So God's job is creation. God's the creator. And you're made in God's image. So what's your job? Do God's work. It's creation. It's to create. Well, what was happening with us is this essence of who we are wants to express itself in a greater way. And why don't we do it? Because we're programmed to think this is silly. The ideas that come to our mind, we don't relate to it. Our image is small relative to the ideas that fly into our mind. But if we really get this, we're going to understand that all the knowledge there ever was is everywhere evenly present. There's no new knowledge. We talk about the knowledge explosion. There's no knowledge. It's an awareness explosion of anything. Now think about this for a moment. All the knowledge there ever was or ever will be is omnipresent. All the power. You never have to worry whether you're going to have the juice to get the job done. The tank is always full. Now think, all the power there ever is, ever was, or ever will be, and it's ever present, doesn't matter where you are. I was thinking, I had the pleasure of working with Ed Mitchell. Edgar Mitchell is gone now, but unfortunately, but he was the captain of a lunar landing module back in one of the Apollo flights. I worked with him just after he came back from the moon. I remember the kids were small. I think maybe, I don't know, Brian was 13, something like that. I had them over to the hotel and I got their picture with him. And I told him he was the man in the moon. He had just come back from the moon. And they're staring at him, you know, and look at him rather strange. But Mitchell was telling me that he was transferring thoughts from the other side of the moon to somebody down Sherman and here on Earth. Pardon me, that's thought transference. Well, that's going on all the time. That's what happens with our phone. If I hit send, your phone rings, it's thought transference. Only it's done with the phone. It's a ping, ding, you know. But that's really what it is. Well, we do that mentally all the time. We've got to start to understand we're doing it. We've got to start to understand we're all wired. We're all connected. There's a power that we represent, that we are a part of, that we are. So when we start to think about what are we going to do, let's take a look at this. This is the real you. And when you stop and think about that, understanding the truth is your key to great results. You've got to understand the truth of this. When you start to get tired, let's understand you're tired because you're not into the spirit of it. It's not you're running out of energy. You'll never run out of energy. There's an infinite supply of energy. When you can't think of the answer, it's because your mind is clouded. It's probably confused. You're letting what's going on outside really fog your perception. If we can understand, when we ask a question, the answer comes with it. The answer comes with the question. They're not separate.
I'm going to stop there. He has a lot of good notes in that. I want to go back to it. Goals are good for the soul. Goals manipulate energy, manipulate time and matter. You've seen this happen before. You've seen it happen in your lifetime. You've seen it happen in past lifetimes. You've seen it happen over and over and over again, but you miss it. You miss it over and over again. You're missing the thing behind the thought and action. Oh my God, it's a beautiful thing when you recognize it. And it's even more beautiful when you can understand it. It's you. Now, Bob was talking about goals, goal settings, and he's talking about the thought and the action. The gift is your spiritual DNA. The gift is who you really are. It's in me and it's in you. It's the thing behind thought and action. It's the only thing that could ever change anything. It's the only thing that could ever change anything into something. I made a pin. Made a pin. Change anything into something. Change nothing into something. We miss it. Why do we miss it? Because it's unseen. It's a thing that makes the world go around. It's in you. It's in me. The environment will try to get your attention every step of the way. It's done this from day one, and you know it. The environment try to grab your attention. Look at this. Look at that. Would you listen to what I'm saying? Look at them. Stop imagining. Focus on what I'm telling you. How many times did you hear that in school? How many times did they tell you, stop imagining? Look. Do as we do. Look at their results. Do you want to keep doing as they do? Really think about what I'm saying. Go look as they do. Do you want to continue to get their results? I didn't. I knew a long time ago that I was different. In fact, at 3 years old, I knew I was different. I knew that I was not the same. I knew I was spirit informed. That's what has given me, reminded me, the continual reminder that I'm not a body. I live in a body. I am not just plaster on the wall. I am somebody. You are somebody. Your spiritual DNA is perfect, and you know it. But all the things around you are going to try to grab your attention. I no longer wanted to be common. I stopped listening to common things. I wanted to be uncommon. I was naturally born to be uncommon. You were naturally born to be uncommon. You don't want to fit in, nor did I. I didn't want common results. I had to start doing uncommon things. Uncommon people get uncommon results at common times because they are doing uncommon things around common people doing common things. So they get uncommon results. Uncommon people do uncommon things at uncommon and common times. And that's why they get uncommon results. That's the truth. You got to think beyond where you're at. That's not normal. You got to desire more than what they want. That's not normal. You got to decide that you will go beyond what's common. That's not normal. You got to believe in yourself. That's not normal. You've got to believe that you can acquire anything you want. You've got to believe that you're going to set a dream, you're going to set a goal, and you're going to work towards it. And you will not waver. You will not waver. That's not normal. You see, I didn't want to be normal. There's a whole flock of those. The art of goal achieving. Think about this. That energy inside of you might have never changed. It might have never changed if you wouldn't have believed in you. Really think about what I'm saying. You know how many people around the world given their birthright away and never changed that energy inside themselves to really find out who they truly are? You don't have to be that person. You don't have to be that person. You know you're not that person, and you know you're meant for more. Think about it. Goals are not to get, they're to grow. Goals purify the soul. All the beliefs, all the ideas, all the culture. You let them go. It's the thing behind the thought and action, who you truly are. And you were meant for more. Take a look at what we're doing. We have classes Monday through Friday. We're teaching this information every day. Your uniqueness with the creative force. It's a beautiful thing. We all are one with the creative force. You and I and every man, every woman that has ever walked the earth. We were one with the creative force. You've got to release the idea. We have classes every Saturday for people that are wanting to get into this mastery lifestyle. We have a program for you. And everybody wants to get into our business matrix. We have another program for you. We have programs for every walk of life. When you're ready, and I know you are, send us a message. The world is yours, and it was meant for you to design it, to create it, to live life by design. Wish everybody to have a wonderful week. Wonderful day. I also would like for you to take a look at what we're doing once a month. We have a live seminar for you guys to come, to attend. If you're in the Lubbock area, to be here. To be here now is the key. All the time we have is now. If we miss it, we could miss life. Everybody have a wonderful day.